I now have to my left Rukkayyah Collector. Rukkayyah is Campaigns and Communications Officer for the Palestine Solidarity Campaign. She graduated from Leeds University with a degree in broadcast journalism, followed by a sabbatical year at the Student Union representing over 30,000 students on educational matters. She was the first Muslim woman to get elected on the National Union of Students Executive Committee in a full-time position as Black Students Officer. An active anti-racism and equality and global justice campaigner, Rukkayyah won the Muslim News Malcolm X Youth Award in 2008. Rukkayyah.
Assalamu alaikum. The problem with the third speaker, three panellists is that they say what you want to. So bear with me. I'll try and keep it short so then you guys have got more chances to ask questions. I was going to start off with, a broad political perspective of what's happening in the world, how have things changed for Muslim students after 9/11 and obviously after 7/7. We saw what our country was doing. It went into war in, Afghanistan, Iraq, and there was a backlash in the community in Britain. It hasn't been easy to be a Muslim in the last 8 years, and especially as a student, where they've been at the forefront of the attacks. At the sharpest end of racism on campus, and we've seen that with the whole culture of spying on Muslim students, house detentions, people being deported back to their countries without charge and so on. And when you're faced in that kind of situation, you can do two things. You can put your head down and say, I'm going to study, going to get my degree at the end of it, that's what I'm here to do, and do that. Or you can be radical, you can get involved, you can try and make a difference. And it's the same situation that every community that's under a particular kind of racism feel, and for me, I like to think that I took the second option, and I really believed in Gandhi's quote that you have to be the change that you want to see as an Indian, I really wanted to take that forward. And so I tried to do as much as that as possible, and the way I did that was, I did the usual stuff, like going out on the streets, protesting, demonstrating, leafleting, trying to react to what the government was doing abroad and in Britain. But you can't always be reacting. You have to be proactive and be able to set the agenda. And you're not going to be able to set the agenda if you're not at the places that they are making the decisions, and that means representation. If, for example, the common Muslim issue was we want a prayer room or we want halal food, the vice chancellors and their pro-vice chancellors sitting around at their, their university council are not suddenly going to wake up one day and say, this is what we can do for Muslim students. We can provide a prayer room. They're not going to do that, and unless you're there, and unless you're giving your perspective and you're saying, excuse me, this is what we want, and this is when we want it, and this is how we want it, nothing is ever going to change. And I just want to emphasise that point, that you have to be represented at every single level. And that's what I've tried to do, and I know what other students, Muslim students, are trying to do. But when you are representing, you can't be a one-trick pony. You can't be only caring about Muslim issues, because you lose your legitimacy. You have to be broad, and you have to have an opinion on different issues. I've disagreed with people on this panel on lots of different issues around education funding, the way NUS works in terms of its structures, how people vote in elections in NUS, lots of different disagreements that we have, and that's a healthy thing. But you have to care about non-Muslim issues. We should have an opinion on climate change. We should have an opinion on how students are catered for, all students, if their feedback is good enough on their campus, are they paying enough, are they getting value for money and so on. So yeah, that's kind of my line, and feel free to ask me questions later.
Thank you very much, Rukkayyah.